is now clear that we will reach AGI by the end of the year 2026, so approximately 1 year from now. AGI is artificial general intelligence, and reaching AGI is the most important historical event that has ever happened in human history. The economic, social, cultural, and political impact will be greater than anything that has happened in history, and it's going to happen over an extremely short period of time. And the reason is that AGI is essentially the point at which AI becomes generally intelligent and is capable of fully replacing a human at any job. Now, the economic impact of that will be extraordinary. The thing to understand about it is that this will be a single transition point. That's the most important thing to understand, is that it is a single transition point. We won't see a lot of change leading up to this point, but once we pass this point, everything will change. In particular, everyone is going to start to lose their jobs, but at the same time, AI will do a much better job than any human has been able to do, and it will be available in essentially unlimited quantities. So almost immediately, any sort of information work will be available in unlimited quantities. Work like being a lawyer or an accountant or doing medical consultation, all of that will be done for essentially zero cost by AI. It won't be actually zero cost, but it will be so low cost that the cost won't really matter. Now, people will get an income from the government once they start to become unemployed. It's the only real solution. I know there's a lot of other solutions being proposed right now, and a lot of people also don't believe that we are going to reach a point where AI will be able to replace all jobs. But it looks very certain now. So I have been predicting that this will happen by the end of 2026 based on the trends in the development of artificial intelligence across multiple domains, and based on the trends of improvement in AI across multiple benchmarks, including the improvement of artificial intelligence in intelligence, the IQ test, which I talked about in a previous video. But that's reinforced with a lot of information about what's been happening in benchmarks, what's been happening in the underlying technology. Some time ago, I wanted to come up with a way of measuring progress in each of the domains that contribute to artificial general intelligence. It just was too much for me to do, but now, just 3 weeks ago, a group of people has issued a research paper. Now I'm glad that I didn't try this, because it took 33 people to write this research paper. But what they've done is something quite good. They have divided the task of achieving artificial general intelligence into 10 different domains. And then they have measured the performance of artificial intelligence. In this case, they studied ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 5. And they tested it in all these domains. And then they put that on what's called a radar chart, which I'll show you. And it indicates that artificial intelligence was able to achieve 58%, a 58% score on all these domains combined when GPT-5 came out, which was in August of 2026. When GPT-4 came out, which you'll see in the blue, GPT-5 is in the red, it only scored 27%. So that improvement over 2.5 years, 2 years and 5 months, is an indication of the rate of progress towards AGI. I did my own simple projection to see if that continues, when we would reach AGI. If it continues at the same rate, and I know we're only dealing with 2 data points, but still it should be roughly correct, we would reach 90% of the way to AGI by the end of 2026, and we would reach 100% of the way to AGI by April of 2027. Now, 2 things are important to consider. One is that there is much more research going on into AI now than there has been in the past. There is more research and more money going into AI all the time. So if anything, this rate of improvement is likely to accelerate. But even if it doesn't accelerate, we're looking at 100% AGI capability by April of 2027. Even if we get to 90% of that capability, 90% will still start to replace a lot of human jobs. One limitation I see with this study is that they did not take into account physical AI or embodied AI, things like humanoid robots and autonomous vehicles. But progress in that is developing at essentially the same pace as the elements of cognitive AI that were included in this research. So I expect physical AI to be ready at the same time as cognitive AI. That's important. I think some people are assuming that physical labor will not be replaced at the same time as cognitive labor, and I don't think that's the case. We will cross this threshold to AGI near the end of 2026 or early 2027, and at that threshold, embodied AI, humanoid robots, and autonomous vehicles will also be at a very high state of development, and will be able to do the job of driving cars and doing physical labor better than humans. Once AI reaches AGI, it doesn't stop there. It will continue to get better and better until it reaches the physical limit of what's possible. It can't get more possible than perfect. I estimate that now it looks like we will get to that limit by 2028. And that means that there will be increasing pressure from the end of 2026 through 2028 to replace all jobs, because AI will just keep getting better and better than humans at everything. And the costs of the cognitive functions will be 1/1000th to 1/10,000th of what the cost is for paying a human to do the same cognitive work. The cost of physical labor will be at least 1/10th to 1/100th of what they are today. And that will create a motivation for companies to switch. Any company that doesn't switch and adopt AI in place of human labor will simply go out of business. They will be replaced by other startups that will start up using AI. In fact, I expect most companies that use exclusively cognitive labor, things like accounting, law, finance, and medical consultation, I expect them to be completely replaced by AI companies. Those will just be services available directly over the internet from AI. So the impact is going to be extraordinary, and it's going to take place over a very short period of time. I think the evidence is now clear. We now have a good research report that shows this. They only looked at progress in a single AI model, but the progress in specialized models and specialized research projects is pointing towards capabilities that are even greater. And even major models that have been released since August of this year have shown significant improvements. For example, Gemini 3 has just recently come out, and there may be newer models coming out from OpenAI and from XAI before the end of the year. And these will already be showing significant improvements. And these significant improvements will continue throughout 2026. And 2026 is going to be the year where everything changes.